We are here at the meeting of the Water Utility Board of Star Valley Ranch. And call the meeting to order. We need to establish a quorum of members. Myself, Steve Crandall, Lee Hansen, a member, is with us via Zoom. Frank Young will not be with us today. Boyd Sidaway is here as a member, and Daniel Stewart will not be in attendance today. That makes 3 out of 5 members, which I believe still constitutes a quorum.
Just a casual statement.
Mm-hmm.
We probably ought to change our ordinance and just say that if a voting member is absent and we have who are you? Advisory member, they can vote. That would make it easier to, two things. One, to have a better vote, and secondly, it would help you in making sure we always can hold a meeting.
Yeah.
Mayor, you got any thoughts on that? Would you be opposed to that?
I don't think I'm opposed to it. I think what I would want to go look at the ordinance. Does it say you can have an alternate member?
You can have advisory members,
Right, but
not all.
Do they count towards the quorum?
They do
some of
not.
some of the boards have alternate members and advisory members. So
I'll read theirs and bring a
I was gonna say,
suggestion.
if you want to propose some updates to the ordinance, that you can put the language in and send it to me, then I'll,
I'll bring it next time if you'd like, and I'll use their others if it does what we want to do. Would you be willing to do that?
That's fine.
I mean, you make enough noise, you ought to be able to vote.
I think they added your name to the website, so.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
That could be dangerous.
it's all over but the shouting now.
Did you get arrows pointed to it?
Just don't put my address.
This is where you can find Advisor Roberts.
Our advisor, what's that?
We should at least make Dave an alternate member, so he can be a voting member
If
if
needed.
there's one missing.
Yeah.
If not, make him a full-time member, and those that don't seem to be able to make it, maybe we change him.
Anyway, our advisor, Dave Roberts, is here, and our council liaison is Mayor Rock, who is here. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved?
A second?
Yeah.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda is approved. We had a last minute request for a change in the minutes of the January 20th meeting. I sent it out as an email about 3 o'clock, so I don't know how many people have read it, but I will read you the language that was added to the minutes. It's under Zach's presentation from Public Works, and some of the, where he explained that the Green Canyon tank is a holding tank and does not supply water for distribution. All distribution comes from the Prater tanks. And this was the language that was requested to be added here. It's detail on what Zach said. This was new information for board members. The water master plan shows the Green Canyon tank distribution map. Boyd Sidaway commented on the electrical expense of pumping all distribution water up to the Prater tanks and the added wear on the transfer pumps. Zach did not know why or how long the system had been operated in this manner, and it was this way since his arrival. Does that sound okay, Lee?
That sounds good. I can add at this point that I've spoken with Terry Wilson, and Boyd can fill you all in if you're not sure what Terry's credentials are, but he confirmed with me that absolutely they put in a pipeline along Muddy String so that Green Canyon could supply a major portion of the town and not to pump everything up to Prater. So whatever we're doing now is a change from the way that it was when the town was established with our water system.
It's also a change from the master plan.
Yeah.
You know, because it shows Green Canyon as a distribution center.
Yeah. About 75,
It also
74.
shows that pipeline along Market Stream, too,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about 74%.
which is an important pipeline.
Did you have some information, Mayor?
Yes, I mean, just got today, haven't had a chance to digest it yet. But what I'll do after the meeting, I will forward this information out to the board, because I'm not sure that that's entirely accurate, that everything's being pumped up to Prater.
Okay.
And Zach's not here to defend himself.
No, and I'm not, I should know more about the way the water system works, and I will say that was my first meeting, so I was not going to contradict anyone.
Mayor, if you just think back, because you can't, but we can. If we just think back to some of the discussions we've had with the water people when they've been here, it did not surprise me. It surprised me that it was said in a meeting, but it didn't surprise me because if you think about what they were doing, they were running those pumps and those wells consistently, even when we had ample supply coming out of the spring. So it just makes sense the way the operation was, that they probably had been doing it since, the last 5, 6, 7 years.
So one of the things, and it's a long email, so I'm not going to read it. Like I said, I haven't digested the whole thing, but this is from Ryan Welling. He said the Prater Spring just does not have the capacity to keep the Prater tanks full in most demand scenarios.
Right.
So there is pumping that happens to send water there.
But that's summertime, that's when.
Well, that's, I
And
think
he also provided a little map.
yeah, I
right?
think we
You've
understood
seen that
that.
before, so
But
I
let's-
will forward this out, and maybe it will
Okay.
clarify or reaffirm what Zach had to say
I went
last
through,
time.
I went through that map years ago
Mhm.
and took each lot that had a house on it and put it in that map's format so we could tell how many houses were being serviced by Prater and how many were being serviced by Green. And it was about a 70-something, 25-something split, meaning 25 out of Prater. And if you're supplying out of Prater, granted in high demand, summer's hot day, everybody watering, it cannot keep up. But in the wintertime, we just proved it. We just took the tank down for how many weeks? 3 weeks, 4 weeks, was it?
Month.
A
Yeah.
month. And guess what did you do? You turned the spring on. So, I mean, it's frustrating to hear that our operations are that screwed up, but you can understand why. Our oldest person is what, 2 years on the job? Or less? I don't know how, when we've hired those other 2 people. But it's the, what do you call it, institutional knowledge has a 2-year max.
Yeah, I would refrain from using terminology such as screwed up when referring to the town personnel, just because if they do watch these meetings,
Yeah, understand.
You know what I mean?
I will change the word.
Yes.
Really messed up.
institutional knowledge, yes, there's definitely been
But
a,
it's not the guy's fault that are here. That's the problem,
no, there's
Mayor.
been the transition or lack thereof of
Yeah,
institutional
documentation.
knowledge.
There's just
And
not
documentation.
there's not a process
Mhm.
Yeah.
for a new person to come on and learn other than to go around with me. And if I don't know, I'm telling him what he shouldn't be hearing. So the formal process would be really superb to have.
Well, I think we all understood that some water was being pumped up there out of necessity, but this was the first time we heard that all water was being pumped up there for distribution, and that just doesn't make economic sense.
Well, the only thing that blew me is when he said, we've always done it that way. And I just couldn't believe what was said.
Well,
So-
he might have meant since he's been here too,
Sure,
Yeah.
so,
yeah. So Zach's been here
Yeah.
4 years,
I mean, 4 now, yeah,
Yeah.
So,
almost
rough.
4.
Almost 4, so.
So isn't Ryan here every Thursday?
If he is here every Thursday, he was not here today.
Okay,
So,
there might be a question for him to try to resolve how that started, and if we need to correct it, how we correct it.
And one thing, Mayor, that we shouldn't do, we should not get into operations. But when we find out about these things, we need to bring it to somebody's attention who knows enough in order to fix it. And when we get right down to it, because of our lack of institutional knowledge, we have one person on our payroll, and that's our engineer. And I don't know that he gets involved in the operations either, but we just can't take new people and say, go do it anymore. We've got to tell them what go do it really means.
Is Ryan local?
Ryan's out of Evanston,
Oh,
so he comes up once a week is
If Ryan should definitely have known that the way we're doing it now is not the way it was established to begin with, and I don't know why he didn't speak up before.
I don't mean to bring up the past, but we used to have a corporate saying, without direction, people will make decisions. And we had cups and everything that had that. Really trying to impress on people, damn it, you're in charge, you make the decision, right or wrong, make it. Because don't leave it up to your people to do it, because they'll do it with less knowledge than you have. So, anyway,
we'll get there.
it's slow, but we'll get there.
Okay, with those additions, do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 20th meeting?
So moved.
And
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes held on January 20th, 2026. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, minutes are approved.
Thanks for the addition, by the way, though. I had a whole page on that, so.
Well, I don't know why I left it out. I certainly listened to it, but maybe I
We
thought
didn't impress you.
maybe I thought it was self-explanatory that, that was a problem. Anyway, it was a good addition. Thank you, Lee. Okay, we're up to updating questions with Council Liaison on water-related issues from Mayor Rock. How are we coming with SCADA reports? Do we have them available?
I know that they had a SCADA meeting the other day and that they're starting to get data. I don't know about the status of reports that are available yet, so. And
Okay.
this week, our town administrator has been out ill ever since Monday, so I'm trying not to ping him with things while he's been trying to recover, so I apologize that I'm not probably as.
So you've been being mayor and
Prepared.
administrator. So.
I do have some information on at least one of these items, so, or two of them.
Well, SCADA is up and running.
Yes, it is up and
So
running.
that's the good news.
Yes.
So we're trying to see where we are with leak detection.
Yes.
With
Is there a way
reports, so-
for us not to get reports, but to get the data? I don't want access to the system's data. I want it to be given to us as data.
Sure.
Because we haven't been asked, I don't think we've been asked by anybody what we want in a report or what we need. And all the reports are being formulated, and it seems like if we're going to be reporting to the council on your efficiency, we ought to have rights to the, the ability to get in. Because as soon as we tell you we want it by the month, we need it by the hour or the day. And if we
Right.
give it to us by the day, we don't need that much, we only need the
Well,
month.
one thing to be careful of is if you provide what kind of data you want, they're gonna go off and build these reports. The question is what is the standard reports that come out of SCADA? Look at that first before you say, well, we need this data.
How do we get them?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So let's ask for the standard reports and see what you
I'll
got.
see what they have set
Yeah.
up, so, because I don't know what's set up
I
yet.
like that idea.
I mean, yeah, I've seen it too
But
many
we,
times.
but we haven't seen them.
Yeah,
so
no, it just
it's kind of
started.
tough to.
It just started.
Then in association with that, we got a letter from the state engineer's office requesting production and usage of the well that we're trying to
Yeah.
bump up from 500 gallons to 1,000 gallons. Do we have that information? I mean, there was this gap from Jesse to SCADA.
I
Are we
hope
gonna be able to
somebody's
provide that
reporting this.
information?
So interestingly, what I have here, or go ahead, Lee, go ahead.
I had a discussion with Terry Wilson about that as well. And he has spoken directly to the state engineer's office since he knows them personally. And they committed to him if we could supply him the production data from each pump and the spring from for 2025 just the totalized number of production from each pump and the spring, and also the consumption by residents for 2025, they would let us go with that information only as just using 2025 as sort of a new base for the town. And I assume that our totalizers work on the pumps. Maybe that's a bad assumption, at least for 2025. If we can get the totalized production and the totalized consumption and give that information to the state engineer's office, that would suffice.
That's a lot simpler than what that letter said, isn't it?
So, hot off the press from this week, I have a letter from the state engineer's office that says, the state engineer approved your application for permit to appropriate groundwater for municipal groundwater permit number, blah, 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 for the well. So now they've seemed to have issued us the
Without the,
okay, yes.
we're lucky.
And we just got this, and Trevor was gonna follow up with Ryan just to make sure everything was in order, but it does appear to be a permit and documents from the state engineer's office.
That's a,
So groundwater?
So it's for,
It's for the well.
it's for the well, it's for well number 3, right? That's the one we're
That's the
talking
one
about.
they were questioning.
Yeah,
Okay, that should not be classified as groundwater. That's out of the Salt Lake Aquifer.
okay. That's what the first line of the letter says, so.
Why do you believe it's not groundwater, Louis?
you can't hear you.
So anyway, looks like maybe
Great.
I will send this
Well,
around
if
to
they
the
got,
board
if
as
we
well.
get that approved,
That's good.
thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I know it's been a long time coming, and then we thought it was gonna take a little while longer after that other letter.
Yeah,
But anyway,
super.
yeah.
Okay, do we have any update on the large meter installation?
Yes.
Residential meter?
We do. So, I can't remember if at the last meeting, the large meter at Fox Run well has been installed and is up and running and providing data into the new system. However, the other large meters have not been installed yet. And so we're looking at possibly having a consultant, Mountain West Waterworks, come in and help us with the installation of the rest of them, just because
Good idea.
they are not as, I guess the one that went into Fox Run was a pretty easy, just fit right in there, no, what do they call them, spacers, gaskets,
Yeah,
whatever
spacers,
required.
yeah.
It was a simple installation, and for the other ones, my understanding is it might be a little more complicated, and so Public Works just wants to make sure that when we get in there and start doing it, that we do it right. So I believe they're getting a quote from Mountain West Waterworks that had been here before and told us they can do lots of different things to include that.
Excellent
Yeah,
choice.
so again, hasn't been finalized, but so the rest of them are not in yet. We're kind of waiting to see what we get from Mountain West and if we're gonna move forward with that, so.
Good.
Just
Was
because,
there a production test done prior to installing it and after installing the new meter to see how close the meters read to one another?
I don't know, I can ask Lee, I didn't ask for that level of detail but I'll find out.
Mayor, could you, rather than ask, could you tell them? Tell them to do it.
Oh, you mean for the subsequent ones, if they didn't do it for this one? I can ask or tell.
Definitely need some sort of parameter, whether or
Put it
not
in
our
order.
old meters be that far off.
I mean, we don't want to wait 6 months to find out that we're.
Your concern there, Lee, is the rate of flow?
We ought to know, so we'll go look elsewhere.
Whether there was an error on the old one
The rate
versus
of,
the
the
new.
rate of flow
Rate.
measured by the new meter versus the
Right,
old
that's what
meter.
okay.
I think, I can't believe that he wouldn't have that information. Even if it was a couple of months ago or 3 months ago, doesn't matter, he has that information.
Who's
So,
he?
the water guys.
As long as the variable speed drive was set the same.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Okay, I got a note.
Good, thank you, Mayor.
So anything new on residential meters?
Those, we're expecting to get the first batch sometime early next month, so
Yeah, in
in
March,
the next couple of
250,
weeks. Yeah,
250.
Could we make the same request of you that you order the before and after test,
on
residential as well?
residential for,
I don't think they want to do all of
I
them.
was gonna
This
say
is the
for- I
conversation we
suppose.
had. They don't want to do them all, but they'll beta test several spots. Because again, it's going to take extra time for them to test it.
Yes, understand that.
So,
And if you're not gonna do them all,
Is
it won't do us any
there
good.
even a rate of flow in those meters? Aren't they just-
some of them are
They're just
completely wrong.
totalizing how much
It's total,
volume.
but you can read it, turn it on for 5 minutes or 1 minute, and then read it again.
Yeah, so it's-
Actually, what we recommended was a 20-gallon bucket.
Okay.
Now, this last item,
I have another question. Our advisor, Dave Roberts, had asked to leave a space around where the new meter goes for the potential positioning of a strap-on acoustic meter to validate the flow meter or the flow rate of administered by the mag meter to see if it's being accurate and make sure that you have a full pipe.
We just mix two things together.
I don't
Was
have
that
any.
recommendation on large meters only?
On the large meters only.
Just the large meters, Lee, not the...
It's really
not-
it's just something that,
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
these meters will eventually lose their effectiveness. And so it's a monitoring thing.
Okay. I don't know
Just
about
check.
that. I do vaguely remember the discussion. And again, I'm gonna apologize for not being overly prepared today. It's been a bit of a wild ride this week.
you're excused. Been there, done that, you're excused.
Oh, goodness.
okay, this next item was requested by Dave.
I think
I
the
think-
mayor knows all about it.
Does she?
Well, I was approached by the HOA folks, because they found out I was on the advisory committee.
When she got published,
So evidently, there's been an issue that's been kind of long-standing with some of the accounts that the HOA has. And it's been going on for a while. I think, Boyd, you may even know something about this from your past, about just the water usage. And the HOA needs some of this data because they have to report to the state, or to the DEQ.
it's on the
And
sewer.
so it's been a troubling thing, and the HOA manager asked if I could help. I said, well, and then I found out that they had a meeting with you, and so.
Yep.
And it may not be the meter, it may be the back office process that's ongoing about how they take the data that they get, and that's processed into an account and
Yeah, it's,
stuff, so.
Well, their issue is, if they're using as much water as we say they're using, they have to put in a bigger septic.
right.
That's the issue.
And so on our end, from the town side, it's kind of a twofold issue. One is, and this is again kind of me learning over the last month or so, that this has been an ongoing problem. As when I was first on the council, I remember then Mayor Byers telling the council there was an issue with the meter at Cedar Creek Center and the town was going to replace it, and didn't hear much more about it then. So at some point, I don't know if that meter got replaced, it was supposed to, but anyway, there's been trouble with the meter readings for the Cedar Creek Center meter, and for whatever reason, you know, they're all electronically read. That one, sometimes when it's been read, it'll, when it gets in the system, I guess gets transferred into the billing system, a digit gets dropped. So that's why there's been some inconsistency. You know, this was the usage last month, and suddenly the next month, the digit gets dropped, and instead of 10,000 gallons, it's 1 million gallons of usage. So, and then we've had some issues downstairs with just the billing in general, because one of the things that's supposed to happen is that as the billing is done, it's supposed to be reviewed so that we can look and see if there's any crazy
Yeah, outliers.
blips and
Sure.
things. And we've also asked that special attention be paid to the association's accounts because of these ongoing issues, and that did not unfortunately happen the last couple of billing cycles for whatever reason. So it just kind of, in my opinion, snowballed. So we have now replaced the meter over there. The guys are also supposed to manually read that meter, not drive by or drive up or whatever they do.
Good.
We're also supposed to, and I know we didn't get this right last time either, or actually when the meter was just read earlier this week, we've asked our public works guys to, when they go over there to manually read it, to please get Ernie Bigelow, who's their maintenance or facilities manager,
Let
to
him
have
read it with
Ernie
them.
with them when it's read. Because Ernie's been taking pictures, I guess, of the meter readings, and they've been doing their own analysis. So we dropped the ball on that and did not coordinate with Ernie this past week, but we're gonna work on fixing that. So in the meantime, Loretta, our treasurer, has gone back through all the billing, and there is a credit that's due. So far, it's like close to $700 on their bill. Now, the last time when I had my meeting with the association board last week or the week before, they were thinking we owed them about $3,000, and I don't believe it's anywhere close to that, but yes, we do owe them some money. So we're still working through, reviewing the accounts, and then also locking in these meter reading procedures so that we can better coordinate with them so that everybody has a level of comfort going forward that, you know, it's not them, it's not us, and that we have all the facts.
And then also the back office work to make sure that we're checking for,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that has to be done, yeah.
Mhm.
That's an easy fix of some
Right.
sort.
So, Mayor, we had, whoever, the software guys, they created a report for us that goes all the way back to 3 years of consumption every month
Mhm.
by resident.
Mhm.
So you can actually, you can see if there's a blip. You can always see where there needs to be a new meter, because it all of a sudden drops off or goes way high, and then a new meter is installed, and then it's more normal with historical. But that reporting that she, now has, she could just look at it. I know it's still 1,200 lines.
Yeah.
But you can still go through very
Right.
quickly, like I did visually, and just see, because you see the million gallon,
Yeah,
and you see the ones that just dropped to nothing.
right. So there's
Very
definitely been
visible.
some anomalies, and it's been
Very visible.
whatever, the meter at Cedar Creek Center, and then one of the ones is the one on Walnut, because they have
Hmm.
8,
They have
9
8
different
accounts.
accounts.
8 accounts, and they told me 4 of them have an issue, and so I would just pay attention to those 4 every month, so that we don't have the
Yes.
wrath of the HOA.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And like I said, we're trying to
Just
lock
to
that
make-
in with, on the administrative end, and then also on the, when the guys come out there and do the
Right,
reading,
right.
so.
The field
Yeah.
stuff and the back office
Exactly,
stuff. Yeah.
yes.
To follow up on what Wade said, if we use that type of reporting and you look at it, and there is an issue, if it's high, it's usually a leak. Or they leave it on running,
Or a bad meter.
or a bad meter. But,
Yes.
I mean, the first 2 things we can tell really easy is, are they gone? Are they here?
Yes. Yes.
And when it's low, they're gone. Most of the time, they're gone on a 2 weeks vacation, or they're away for the summer. So those are things you can look at from a 3 to 4 month, and if they're all zeros, they're not there. And if it's way up high for 2 or 3 months, the odds are it's a meter and not somebody leaving the water.
Right.
Yes.
Toilets do that to you, however, they last forever. When they don't fix those.
And you
People
can-
don't understand how much
Yeah.
water goes
With
through.
this report, you can compare.
Sure.
And that's the best part.
Right.
And you can see when somebody sells their house, because it may have been high and then now it's low and consistent, or it was low and now it's high. It's really
Four
interesting
kids
data.
before 2.
I spent way too many hours just looking and digesting the data and running pivot tables off of it. I said, well,
Well,
this is
that's
interesting.
really good that you have that.
Yeah.
It'll be helpful.
Yeah, we had them generate that report for us, so.
All right.
So is that available from the new SCADA system?
Couldn't
No,
tell.
it's
That's
not
from
stated, that's
Casella.
consumption.
Is that,
That's
it's,
the billing.
That's why I'm
It's billing
saying, whatever
department.
that system is.
That's
the-
right,
The
yeah.
billing.
Yeah, I think it's,
I don't remember the name of it.
Not.
Anyway, I think it is Casella.
Yeah.
It is Casella.
It's gonna be something we're gonna look at when determining loss on account for water. I mean, comparing production versus consumption, we're gonna be looking at that.
I got a new
We used
meter
to get
when I
that
moved
until they cut
in,
us off.
and it always read 50, 52, 55, something like that. And then the utilization was like 4 cents. And until I got on the water board and saw the ordinance and calculated out, they said, well, they're not multiplying anything here, there's something wrong. And I brought it up in water board and was assured that everything was okay, and then I finally brought the bill in and showed it to the mayor and said, do you see a problem here?
The right answer
Wasn't
is.
George doing it in,
Dropping digits,
Yeah, the right answer is, there are always gonna be anomalies.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what you're looking for each month. And I know, I mean, whether it's county or somebody, they're not trained yet to spot those anomalies yet. But the more you do it, the better you'll get.
Yeah.
all right.
So,
Well, thank you, Mayor.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Another work in progress.
well, no, but you're headed in the right direction. It's always a sure, you can't get there overnight,
No.
but we like to see everybody going in the same direction.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
You bet.
On to new business. Last night was the planning, they called it planning commission.
Planning Commission, yes, very official.
The planning commission invited me and the roads board person to come talk to them about this Mountain Estates annexation. And I had a few issues that I gave them that I thought needed to be resolved. And but I did have some time to talk to the developer afterwards and ask some questions. We have a map, you know, in Ryan's report on this that shows, you know, all the connection to the system. And one of the questions I asked him was, are you putting in all the pipes now, or just for the plats that you're working on? And he says, oh, well, you can't economically do all of them, you have to do it piece by piece.
section.
And so, I guess my question is, you know, we know it works when it's fully built out and connected. When do we start connecting piece by piece to the system? You know, and are there gonna be critical connections to our system that are needed to run just a couple of pieces of it? You know, and does Ryan need to look at that and kind of map out how, you know, this is gonna be absolutely needed when this division starts? And then as we build out, you know, we can add the other pieces. Is that a question of concern?
No, I think it's a good question. When looking at how they plan on developing the entire area, I think they're developing on the west side first and then moving east. That's how I
Okay.
look at it.
So down by Money String first?
Down on
Yeah.
Money String. And so my sense is, once we're good with a well there, which is already serving those multifamily homes right now, that they'll be hooking up those west side homes.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan recommended a connection to the Muddy String pipeline. And I think that's the time when you want to connect that to the Muddy String pipeline. So that there's two sources of water that can serve those people. In case the well goes out, you can get it from the Muddy String pipeline, and you can use the well to supplement into the Muddy String pipeline that takes it north and can serve a lot of land out, a lot of the homes out there in that area. So I think it's something to ask Ryan about in terms of the timing of when those phases would sort of come into
Yeah.
play and when you would connect. Eventually, you're gonna wanna have a connection onto the east side and a pressure relief valve there, because you're gonna have to manage those pressures in there.
Well, he shows 3 connections.
I think that'd be,
One on the.
The only reason you'd ever connect to that is if it's a foregone conclusion that you're gonna annex it. And I don't think we have that kind of information that we can say,
yeah.
yes, we're gonna
Well, I
annex it.
think-
Lee, we're
There's
talking,
no way should we be doing that.
that's correct, Lee. We're talking right now as if the annexation was approved, then when the timing is on some of the connections.
We're trying to get problems solved with the developer prior to annexation rather than after.
Can I
Do we
ask?
know what kind of pipe he's put in presently? Is it consistent with the town's specification for water delivery?
I don't know that we know that at this point in time. That's a question that we have to,
Yeah, something
Ask
we need to
him.
find
Doesn't
out.
he'll have to tear it out.
I think a lot of your questions that you asked, Lee, are gonna be things that we have to find out as much as we can now. But for the most part, if the annexation goes through, a lot of that stuff will be grandfathered in. And then anything after the annexation is gonna have to fall within the town codes and the town requirements.
And the water, any water system components that were to go in after that point will have to be approved by Ryan.
Of course, Ryan will be involved in all that, correct?
But Ryan's report indicates that he's given a considerable amount of credit for that well. And.
Financial credit you're talking about?
Yes,
If
And
we
so-
can use it.
If we can use
If
it.
it,
well, yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, what Lee is asking has a direct effect on the value of that system. And unless we know what it is it approved, it should be certified first, if we can all we get
Yeah,
it. So we know what we're getting, because the minute we take it, it's ours, baby.
Right, it is.
And all these records I've seen of all this money we're gonna get from him are 2068. They're not 2027. Because all those payments come to us. I looked up his property tax bill, and last year it was under $6,000 or $7,000
For that 80.
for that 80 acres and the fourplex.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna get rich until that thing is there. Now, he's got a master plan, he doesn't have a master plan. In his mind, he's gonna put in a fourplex and 10 homes.
In the first phase.
I will, yeah, next year, sir.
It's this next
And
build.
I would guarantee you, Mr. Stewart had that same plan. That he was gonna sell this stuff like hotcakes, and he had the best campaign you've ever seen. He had people flying in from Las Vegas and LA and Salt Lake and Idaho. And we are what now, 45, almost 50 years old, and we're at 55%.
Here's
60%, good.
Can I share with you one change that's happened in the county, though, that's changing what's happened in the past versus what's in the future? All development now is all 5 acres. There's very few new developments that have, or, like his,
Sure.
with acre or less.
Yeah.
So there's people that don't want 5 acres because they have to spend $250,000 just for the
And
land.
drill their own well, and all
So,
the other.
and here's what, they're gonna look at that and they're gonna say, wow, I can get my 6/10 of an acre and I get water, I get roads. And so I think it's gonna be more attractive based on just the overall growth in the.
Well, unless he
They
undermines
can already do
us,
that,
our
they can
tax
already
system.
do that with the town of Star Valley Ranch without mountainous
Only if a lot is for sale.
But
You
that's
can't
it.
just go condemn somebody else's lot because you want to live there.
A lot of the lots in town, probably, I don't know what percent, but there's a significant number that will never be built on.
That's
Sure.
right, yes.
I have one right across the street. I'm not gonna block my view in my lifetime.
But guess what? As
I
soon
don't
as
know
you
how
die, kids sell them.
And somebody will build eventually. But there's a lot of trusts that own these properties and, because I get an email every week.
Well,
That says, will you sell your property?
I
The
know.
older people that moved up here,
Yeah.
many of them bought several lots.
So,
And we got one on the picture there that owns 3 of them, now he owns only 1 because he just put them
Mine.
together. But I guess what I'm trying to say is,
none of us know.
all of us are very optimistic about when the town's gonna make money.
Yeah.
And all of our expenses are up front, and all of our revenues are in the back end. And I don't mean all, but the
Yeah, it's not
majority
all.
of them.
It's,
And,
Well, I don't-
and
I
his
don't-
report, Ryan's report did not indicate, there was no timeline.
And, well,
It looked like we were gonna be a million and a half ahead.
so the town, well, I'll let the mayor speak about it. The town did an economic study, or at least looked at what the revenues would be over time and what the expenses would be over time.
Yes.
What now needs to be done is that combined, so you can see the net benefit and over time.
yep.
And so we need that information.
And
So
I didn't see
And
it
it's
over time.
based
I
on,
just saw the total.
it's based on
total.
assumptions, right? And you can argue
And
any
no,
of
no,
the
make the assumptions
Yeah,
so somebody
you
can
gotta have a
argue with
baseline.
it.
That's point.
Right,
That, you
sure, and
know,
I think that's
because none of us
important
know
to
what they
have.
are.
Yeah, we do need that, the part of that analysis that matches up those revenues and costs, so you can see that more than likely, the actual revenue benefits will be realized further down the road than immediately, right?
And we're struggling right now. We struggle every year with our budget. And we've got 60% finance, 60% developed. And he's gonna have 10% developed. And so you can see the difference between that. And Mayor, don't get me wrong. If we can solve the water issues, and we can get money up front or a bond or whatever you can get that guarantees us. Every developer in this world, let me put it this way. If you're a good carpenter, you are not a good contracting manager. Just because you're a good carpenter doesn't make you a good manager. Great school teachers do not make good carpenters. There's a few, but not all of them. And I'm just trying to pull us out that we have a lot of developers that have developed the same piece of property, different people have developed it, because they all go broke. And so, from a town standpoint, we gotta be we should be, we don't gotta do nothing. We should be really conservative on how we look at this. Because we're the youngest town in the state of Wyoming, that's a fact. Nobody else has stepped up to that since we did. The other issue is we're not plush on money. We don't have a reserve anywhere anyone would say we're comfortable with our reserves. So let's just make darn sure we understand cash flows and our guarantees are there, because we shouldn't base our decision on him being successful. We ought to base our decision on him not being successful. Then we'll be conservative enough that we won't take these steps that say, you're gonna get $1.7 million from him in X years, and we're gonna sit there for 50 years waiting for that X year to show up. I don't mean to pound a
When I hear in a town council workshop that, oh, you're only annexing the land, and as soon as we annex them, the development plan that is proposed by Mountain Estates is out the window. And so how can the town even plan that it's gonna be half acre or X number, 13 townhouses or whatever, if everything goes out the window as soon as we annex the land? And we also have a commitment in our ordinance, Title V, that any water user inside the boundaries of the town has got to be supplied by the town. So that well has got to go over to town ownership as soon as if we annex that. And I don't know whether Mountain Estates is ready to do that.
Let me bring up another
They won't
question.
get annexed if they're not.
Yeah, no, but look at it this way though. Wouldn't you be nervous if you were the developer? Has the town made a commitment to him what we're gonna do if we do annexing?
No?
I heard that Taylor said in a council meeting, we will be able to control this and change things that we don't like if it's too
Well, he would
dense.
have to follow our ordinances.
Yes,
No.
in the code.
Yes, he would.
Yes.
If we annex him, he has to.
Yeah.
Then our ordinance
Or
says
he'll
it
be
can't
fined.
have anymore. So, which means you have to change your ordinances to be compliant. We don't have multiple units in our town ordinance?
We have multifamily zoning with
Zoning.
townhomes and condos.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's there.
Sorry.
Yep.
It's
It's
less,
after my time.
Okay.
it's less dense,
We do it
it's
better.
less dense than,
Is he willing to agree to our ordinances?
he'd have
We've
to.
had, I mean,
No, he doesn't have to. He can say, screw it, I'm gonna leave it and just leave it bare land.
Oh, yeah, he,
oh, yeah, sure.
he could
I
do
mean,
that.
seriously, let's be honest about this. Just be very conservative, Mayor. Make sure your tail is really covered. You know, your
Absolutely.
backside.
That's why we're talking about some of these things.
If he's gonna build to the plan that was conditionally approved by the county commissioners, then hold him to it and make him put in the roads and make him put in the water lines and the power. And
Under
And-
contract.
Yeah.
then we got something. But for right now, if he's just gonna piecemeal a home 2 or 3 a year, we don't have anything.
What authority does the town have regarding lot size, things of that nature, if he doesn't follow the plan that the county's already approved?
We've never had a minimum because we, as a town, incorporated what was here.
Right.
Everything was totally platted before we were a town.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think, and that's the thing with this, it's not.
Hasn't been
There is
platted
no
yet.
plat on county record books for Mountain Estates right now. So-
We should require.
So can you require that as a condition of annexation,
I
that, that get platted?
If, the multifamily concept that he wants to build out is 16 of these units, right?
Yeah.
Right, in the front, right.
But our ordinance says that you can only have one for every 15,000
So we
square
have to
feet.
modify that, because it's too dense, right?
Yes.
Right,
And I
but-
think, to me, and really need that annexation agreement draft from the attorney,
Right,
so
I
we
know,
can
we do.
see what he's got in there
Because
to
we don't
start
know.
with. But I believe that saying at least you have to plat it by phase, you know, right
Right.
now he wants to do a phase development, but we should have a condition where we need to see what that is and make sure it conforms to our ordinances, before we approve him to put one new
Right.
structure.
Because again, he won't get a permit to build, if we annex him, he won't have a permit to build without the town
Town,
approving
right,
that
right.
Yeah.
permit.
And we will end up plowing roads and providing water, and we'll get $7,000 a year
Yeah.
in taxes.
But to
The
the
two
point-
things you
Do
can
we know,
do, you
do
can
we know
require
what kind of
him.
septic system he put in for the existing townhouse? Is that an enhanced septic system? Do they have a space for a secondary drain field? All of the things that the town requires. What does he have there? He committed that he would put in enhanced septic systems. Did he do it?
I think the answer to that is yes, and that, one of the documents we have on the annexation page of the town website, we've been posting all the information there, is a pretty voluminous water and wastewater study that Sunrise did, just from, I think it's 2024, and it details all what their plan is for everything, so.
Read it.
They were planning
And
on
I
building
just wonder if
45
he really did that.
roof too. Mayor, there's two things you can do. You can make him live up to our standards, or you can change our standards to allow him to do things. So you do have a choice.
Oh, sure.
The other side of it is, though, what are the people expecting you all to do as council? So let me just ask a simple question, if you can answer it. Are we here to say, when you annex him, here's the things you should include? Or should we say, here are the questions we have before you decide to annex him?
I think both.
Well, no, there's a
I
subtle
think,
difference.
I think some of that stuff we don't know yet, so it is gonna be a question. Some of the stuff we do know already.
Yeah. Well, it's, the facts are there, we may not know it, but the facts are there. So we can ask questions that you all need to get answered, and when you're answered to your satisfaction,
Yep.
then you're there.
Yeah, and we've been trying to post even those sorts of things on the website. You know, the emails we've gotten where people have asked us questions. We've been posting the questions and the responses. The planning commission has a whole list of questions that we answered some of them last
Last
night.
night, yeah.
Got a new list of questions, so we're gonna put those on the website. But yeah, so that's why I asked Steve if he would be willing to come and talk with us, and then after the meeting, to, you know, have the water board put forward any other questions, concerns you have. That'll help the planning commission too, because
Yep.
then we'll know, you know, we'll know what we don't know.
Well, and already from reading Ryan's report and some of the things that he mentioned in that report, there are some recommendations we could make to, you know, to cure the issues that have been addressed. Like there are some dead end piping in there, and Ryan suggested you loop those, so we're gonna recommend that the town request that those be looped in and not be dead end.
And that's,
I
sure.
think the well capacity, or if there's another well, needs to be addressed. And I don't think the town actually should take the land in until that's resolved.
The well.
Yeah,
Here, I
that needs to
agree.
be resolved to the satisfaction of the town. So in the annexation agreement, you can have that as a condition. We'll
Right.
give you 180 days or 365 days to do that.
Right.
If that's done, then we'll annex. So annexation may not happen for a year or 2
Right.
years.
Right. That
Because you've got all these things he's gotta do
Well,
before it
it's like
happens.
our own conditions of approval.
Right,
to move
of
forward,
course, yes.
Before we annex.
What's in it for him?
Well, there's a lot in it.
I talked to
And it's
him,
all money,
I talked to him
upfront money
about
for
that.
What did you
him. We're
get?
saving him a ton of money.
He's gonna build all those homes out there. He's gonna make money off of
Yeah,
that.
Well,
but he does not want to manage water.
That's what I
Of
bingo
course he
right there.
doesn't.
He doesn't want to manage his own small water
neither do we.
system.
But we got
Well, I tell you what, that well can help serve the land to the north when it's hooked into that muddy pipeline. It's just another source of supply for that.
Yeah.
And by doing that, it creates a more reliable supply upstream at Prater Canyon and Green Canyon.
And that's a benefit that
That's-
starts day one.
That starts right away, as
That
long
water
as you
will,
can have that connected.
water will run downhill into Green Canyon tank,
What will?
his.
No, it will run downhill to the north.
Well, I'm just saying.
You already have that
When he hooks
capability.
it into our main system, it'll run downhill into our tank, if we want it to.
If we wanted to, yeah.
And so you can get it there where it'll be full distribution.
And so, you know,
It's a valuable asset if it's
Ryan
there.
estimated that they need 90 gallons a minute for sort of everyday use.
For them.
Right, and then the maximum use would be up over 500, but then that's on a single point in time. But the maximum sort of daily use would be 205 gallons a minute. And that's the capacity that we can ask for this well.
Yep.
Is 205 gallons, because that additional 105 gallons a minute that can help the rest of the town. I mean, there's gotta be something in it for us as an asset in
Well-
the water system, and the well would be that asset.
The well is only permitted for 150 gallon a minute.
I know, he needs to
205.
Needs the fix.
he needs to improve it to 205, Lee.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah,
Need more than that to make it worthwhile for the town. We already can supply the town at full build out.
Now we can with the.
Well, this would be an extra measure of additional supply.
Did Ryan, and I'm sorry, that I've read a lot of things, but my memory is really short. So did Ryan include the additional requirement on our storage for that? Because once he's plugged in, he's using our storage. He will use our storage in times of drought, you know, when it's really high demand is what the word is.
wasn't that in the impact fee?
No, we wiped it out practically.
It's,
Well, practically, but there's something in
again,
there, I
if the
think, for
well is
storage.
205 gallons a minute and they only need 90,
No, 90 average.
yeah.
I'm talking about when it is, when their demand is greater than the well capacity, they're gonna have to use our storage.
Right, and I doubt that their demand's gonna exceed that 205 gallons a minute.
Not for 57 years.
That's
A
the
long
point.
time out,
If I'm
Steve.
right. But our people are paying money into a kitty,
Correct.
theoretically, for those futures. So they should be paying into it.
Oh,
But they're not
absolutely.
gonna pay into it until he develops it. That's what I'm really concerned about. If that thing was planted, we've had over 1,000 people paying $25 a month, $30, whatever we
Yeah,
charge
right.
them,
Yeah.
for future costs. And they're gonna come in for free. Nobody gets that. Nobody has to pay for a damn penny up there unless he has a phase that does it. And he's got so many phases that he may never get to
But
the
if he
end.
doesn't do the phase, it's not hurting the town any.
Right, there's no demand.
So
Who
you're saying,
cares?
is that what you're?
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
why, again,
Well, no, but we could say the same thing to our people.
No, I get
If
it.
you don't
Yes,
sell
yes.
your lot, why do we have to do all this stuff? But you have
No,
to
no.
plan for the eventual.
but I'm saying, if it never came to fruition,
Right.
let's say you only built 10 homes and
Left.
two multifamily. Again, it's enough capacity with
Oh.
what he currently has.
I don't question it a bit, but look a vacant lot owner in the eye and say, but they're not developed. They're not developed. He said, why mine's not
It's
developed?
not a lot yet because.
No, because you're not requiring
Yeah.
it. You see what I'm saying? He should be required to have a full
Platted.
platted deal. He's got
Well,
vacant lots where we got vacant lots, he's got,
I think
Occupied
that's
lots.
one of the recommendations, I mean, we just talked about that.
but it's gotta be not a plan to where he doesn't pay anything until he gets there. It's gotta be, here it is.
That provides
And-
certainty, the plat provides certainty to the town that that's gonna be developed
Yeah.
like that. I think that's important. I don't see why you would have a problem with that.
And if he goes bankrupt,
And
somebody
he
else
has a
can come
plan
in
that he
and
wants to
remove it.
execute now,
Right.
and it's,
And he has
That's
it
right,
drawn
gonna
out.
work.
So get it platted to all of our points,
Right.
except for, I don't want to see 16
No, but you,
multifamily
right,
units.
but you don't have to see it.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that would have to be a change.
That's
Sure.
a change, right.
You
Because
gotta-
again, if he's gonna plat it,
Go-
not being annexed, he's gonna go do that.
Yeah,
And then we have to grandfather him if we ever annex him, because it's been platted that way.
so I
So,
think there's enough pain
Yeah.
on his part financially,
yeah,
that if you tell him he has to do it, he'll probably do it.
well. Good discussion.
Well, I think a likely scenario is 20 years from now, there's 30 homes there.
That's probably about right.
You know,
yeah, probably.
That's
Um,
probably-
I'm very biased.
And
Which is
then-
okay.
Because I stare out my front window
You'd
at
rather not
that
see it.
wonderful field, and I can see those storage units from my picturesque window.
Oh, that's another deal. The storage units aren't included. The
They're
storage
outside.
the storage units are currently using somebody's water. Either one of our customers illegally are doing it. Yeah, they're watering their trees. They have trees out there.
Okay.
And they got water from one of our customers, and we told them they couldn't sell water. And I don't know if they turned it off, or if he's brought that well over. And the question should be, do they have water
They're gonna have
access?
to, yeah, they're gonna have to get their own.
Well, this developer
No,
doesn't
they can have it, because we
own
have
those storage
out-of-town
units
water rates.
No.
But they need a meter.
anymore. He
No,
built
he
them,
didn't.
but he
He
sold
used to
them.
own them. He
So-
sold it.
But why would, yeah, because that's a piece of commercial property as well, which would generate at least a little bit of.
Well, yeah, it would double what you're getting into right to start with,
Exactly.
you know?
So anyway, I think the scenario is in 20 years, we've got maybe 30 homes there,
Yeah.
and he walks away, sells the rest because it's time to retire.
Well, if it's planted, we don't care
If it's
when.
Yeah,
planted-
that's the importance of the
I
plan.
don't think so.
I
And
agree.
it'd be easy to sell those to other,
Well,
Develop.
you know,
if he,
developers.
look at the worst, he goes bankrupt, and you wanna buy that property.
Mhm.
You buy the property with the planning as it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna buy unless you agree to it.
Agree.
And we're not gonna let you, we're not gonna
Change.
change our ideas, no way. You see what I'm saying?
And
So
the
I think it's,
same thing applies to water rights.
yeah,
We need to have those up front because we don't want them sold to a third party at some point.
I think that buys us time.
for the whole, for the whole.
Yeah.
80 acres.
Yeah.
We don't want somebody setting up a private
And we
water
don't own
system.
the water rights, we own the, in the state of Wyoming, it's really weird. We're granted the use of the water.
You have what's called the use of fructory right.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know more about that than I do.
Then you have.
I just remembered,
All water rights are like that.
I just remembered, we didn't get water
We
rights.
don't like using that word because it's too hard to pronounce anyway.
You understand though, that's the important thing.
Well,
But
I
yes,
think,
these
I
are-
think,
But every time we have a conversation like this, we gather more and more
Yeah.
information from
Right,
everybody
right.
saying,
That's the way to
look,
proceed.
this could be a good deal if these
Yeah,
right, all
conditions are
those
met.
things.
And I don't
yeah.
think anybody would disagree, it's just all of us agreeing what this, and this is.
Right. I think the questions that Lee raised should be added to the questions for you all to
Yep.
review and post on the.
So do you want a formal recommendation from the board?
I would love to have, if you've got these, well, I've got these questions in the email, but if you want to put those and any others together along with
You haven't seen
sort of
this.
a formal recommendation, that gives us something to also then as a town and the staff to find answers to if there are answers available and share all of that with the public on the website and in meetings, so.
You want me to draft up something?
Sure.
You're the best person to do it.
I'll just write it to you guys.
Lee and I have spent the last 3 weeks
This is excellent.
putting together everything we could. Now, let me tell you how we did it. We went and we said, let's just start writing. Don't try to organize anything. We said, put questions down, what happens if this, or what if we don't do this, or what if we do that?
Is that what this is?
That's what that is. So it's not made to be, say, don't do it. It's to say, if you do it, here's what you should do. And it's not complete by any means, but at least it's all of our thoughts that we put a lot of time and effort in. And the alternates, you can laugh at some of those alternates, but we got to say, what's the wildest alternate you could ask for? And we put a couple of those in there. But the last page is questions, and the first page is whatever we put on there as a title, but you really need that first page answered, I think. That'll help you get started, so use those, David, to your discretion.
Well,
If you know the answer, don't do it, but.
yeah, many times they don't, so.
But it's better to have 10 people ask you the same question
We're
than
gonna-
not, but anybody not
We're
ask
gonna,
it.
we're gonna focus, since we are the water utility board, focus on the water.
Yeah.
Exclusively, yes.
Okay.
And I think some of the questions we want answered should be separate from our recommendations.
Recommendations, correct.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
yeah. Now, I also talked to him about the wellhead protection area, the 200-foot thing. And he seems confident that, he's talked with the neighboring owners and seems confident he'll get a variance on that. And he said that the rumors about him being sued about it are false. He's not being sued about it, so.
Well, there's enough rumors that
The variance, what is the variance?
200-foot wellhead protection.
I know, but does the variance say that, would it say that within that 200-foot area, there would not be developed a septic tank?
Yeah,
Is that what's gonna say with the neighboring landowner?
Basically.
I would think so.
So then I'm just trying to understand it. So that would have to be something that would have to be, that would run with that neighbor's land, so any subsequent owner
It's a
knows
deed.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it has to be conveyable to the town.
Yeah.
That variance has to be something that the town can
a
enforce.
separate transaction.
Yes, it has to be enforceable, and then there's also a condition, a covenant that runs with that neighbor's land,
Mhm.
that variance is in place and no septic tank can be developed.
Yeah,
Because if she ends up selling that land, that new owner needs to know that it just runs with the land.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Well, if you look at the circle, there's one of his lots that's about 65, 70% inside that
That
circle.
circle, right.
I would recommend very strongly that you consider making that a utility lot.
It should become part of the
And
utility.
as they
tract.
redraw this thing,
Right, sure.
just make that lot cover that
Right,
200 and let's get rid of the,
Right.
Is
somebody
there-
having you can put
Right.
that one septic on the neighbors and then you pump it over and it's all uphill and it comes right back in. So let's be careful.
So he has the easement from the property owner to the northeast. He did get that
Oh,
easement.
he has got it?
He just doesn't have it from Miss Aaron's on the northwest,
Okay.
so.
So, let's make sure that easement runs with the land,
Mhm.
that it's recorded,
yeah.
so that subsequent owners know that.
Put that in your recommendation thing.
Please.
Yeah, we'll approve it, just like you said.
Should we pre-approve it so we get it to them early? How soon do you need all this stuff, by the way?
Yesterday.
I know.
We
I
can-
get it as soon as I ask.
You will have it,
Say today.
I'll get something to you guys this weekend to get started, and then,
Could we put together a short meeting just for the purpose of voting on that
or we can do
recommendation,
it
like
via
next week?
email, however you want to do
Just
it.
do it by email, yeah.
Yeah,
When you have it approved, let him send it out, and we'll vote.
No, I'm just gonna draft it, you guys are gonna look at it and tell
yeah,
me,
we'll make,
what the hell are you talking about, Dave?
I never questioned you.
but I think what we're hearing is, you know, developers aren't always successful. We need to protect the town
Oh, most
for
definitely.
all possible paths that this
Right.
property takes.
Yeah.
So the other
And,
aspect of all this that the town needs to be thinking about is, what about the next person that comes in? And where are they situated? And I think the town needs to be thinking about, so long as the land is within the exterior boundaries of the water system, you're good. But once you go outside the water system boundary, like to east of, or west of Muddy String Road, that area out
Yes.
there, no deal.
Or down on, past, what is that down at the bottom? The road.
Oh, Perkins?
Perkins, if it's on the other side
Yeah,
of Perkins.
Perkins.
Because they've come to us
Oh, really?
twice, I think.
You need to be, town needs to be thinking about, sort of, what are the parameters for future annexation?
Well, yeah, like I mean, you know, the two parcels
Going
north
down.
of Muddy String, right?
Right.
Those are, and then
But going down
there's
Clark,
that whole bit there,
Going
which,
down
I don't wanna
Crater
think
Canyon.
about that. And then there's the nice little donut or rectangle up there
Because,
off of Clark.
because if you have to extend the water system beyond where it currently exists,
Right.
you're gonna run into
A lot of,
eventually issues.
no, that's a really
Especially
good
going
point.
north.
Yes.
The higher you get
And east.
Yeah, and up on the mountain side, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the water is evidently shallower or deeper north and shallower to the south
so,
because of the Cedar Creek
Mhm.
alluvial fan.
right.
I was just more concerned about the pressure.
Yeah, I know,
Once you go up the mountain, you lose it.
I just want to make sure we have enough supply.
We have a person up on the north that actually takes the water out of our system, puts a pump on it, pumps it in.
Pumps
We
it,
have to
yeah,
get a
because of
pressure.
where they're located.
I don't know, Boyd, did you have to deal with any folks approaching the town about possible annexation when you were mayor? I mean, because as far as I know, other than Sunrise Mountain Estates and now Mountain Estates, you know, attempt number 2, there haven't been
We're trying to
others.
form a town, let alone expand it.
They're,
You know what I mean?
they're,
But I mean, there could,
I mean, it's likely that over time,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know.
there'll be some more people.
right.
Mm.
Well, and I mean, from the planning commission perspective, we've talked a lot about these commercial lots on the south side of Vista. You know,
Right.
those are not in the town right now. What could happen there?
Right.
Right at the town entrance. So, but,
Well, see, we got those platted and approved when we had the authority to do it.
right, right,
Now we don't have the authority if they want to change it.
right.
Did you ever think of that? And we can thank our little gal that lives up on the North Hill here for that little piece of work. Why did they ever let us, why did they ever let people away? Because you can't get that back. Once you gave it away, it's, you just, they'd shoot you before they would
Yeah.
let you have it back.
Okay.
Okay,
Why did Mountain Estates eliminate their commercial areas in that plan? They, at one time, there was, I don't know, probably 10 acres that was designated commercial, and now none of it's commercial, it's all residential.
Well, they have a church house too.
That,
That took away some charm of Star Valley Ranch having a potential additional commercial area as well. And other than just they're in direct competition with development on the ranch itself and not bringing anything of value to the town.
I don't know.
it's likely, Lee, because there isn't a lot of commercial development going on anywhere around
It's
here.
money.
I'm sure that's it.
I'm sure it is.
Fourplexes are a lot more enticing to a builder than a
Yeah.
Quonset hut.
Gosh, if we had one commercial development along Vista there, then maybe there might be some momentum, but there's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave, you're gonna put together,
I'll draft up
okay.
some recommendations and put in the list of questions.
I told Wade we'd talk about rate setting a little bit.
Wait,
And I put down a couple of ideas as I've looked at other systems, and one of the things I really liked was the idea of multi-year planning. Talking 5, maybe 6 years.
yeah, I agree.
And, you know, we set the rate and budget and everything for the first year, and then look out 5 years to what kind of capital expenses we're gonna
Totally
have,
agree.
and predict the rates and everything for those.
So
And then every year, we just move forward,
Yeah,
add another year,
yeah.
adjust what we did last year a little bit,
New assumptions.
and keep going. If there's any fault of what we've done in the past, is we haven't looked in the future enough. And so that's one idea I think that we should implement, is start doing rates and budgets and everything in at least a 5-year. And it's not hard to do, it's,
I mean, we have that model that's a 10-year, and it goes out. Who cares what the years 6 through 10 is, because every year you'll change that, but get the first 5
yeah.
kind of focused in on, right?
Yeah, once we have any asset.
Boyd had a rate setting tool that went out at least 10 years. Is that not right, Boyd?
Yes, but it was not based on, it was a rate-driven model, not a budget-driven rate. Does that make sense to you?
A rate-driven model, which the model we've built,
We
the
said
current
it-
one
we
is a
said-
rate,
We said, here's the
Yeah.
rate, and here's what you can spend.
but you've got to get to the point of being able to say, here's my capital expenditure, so that we can monitor that reserve value.
Correct.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I think, yes, we're probably saying the same thing.
Well, I think the thing that your model, Boyd, incorporated was, you know, mainly paying off the loans.
That was the number one
That was the
priority.
number one priority, and,
Yeah.
you know, you needed to collect enough for that, plus what operations is going to increase over the years, and we wanted to maintain that.
And then down at the bottom, it showed you how much you could put into reserves, or how
Yeah.
much you had to take out of reserves to balance it.
But the big ticket items, or the operations is always going to be there. And it has to be supported by our
Yes,
normal income. It really becomes, what are our big capital asset purchases over the course of the next 5 years? We've just spent a tremendous amount of money the last, since 2017, right? Building an entirely new water system.
Yeah.
What else do we have left? Because those are gonna last us for 50 years. We're not gonna go out and spend 20 million. So anybody just needs to be able to say, what do we have next? Are we really gonna put in a tank?
Well,
And if
you-
so, how big is it? And
you
what's it
took
gonna
the-
cost?
You took all of those assets, from the
Yeah.
engineer,
Yep.
and then down at the bottom is, this is what's due in the next 10, and that was 2023. So that's a resource of what we're looking. There's gonna be a whole lot of stuff that's out 40 years.
Right, but it's not,
But there might be some stuff that's out 5 years.
Yeah,
because we know we haven't replaced those
Right,
yet.
right.
And that's really what it comes down to me.
and some of that is gonna require new loans that we need to add into the rate, and so all I'm saying is we need to be more long-term with our rate setting process and planning for those big ticket items
and
in
there's
the
a great
future.
reason to do that. Because we have loans coming due shortly.
Well,
30,
they're expiring.
Yeah.
31 is,
And when they're paid off, there is a gap there.
Yes, oh, and you'll
And we've
see it,
looked-
it
we've
drops
looked-
right
oh,
off the
yeah.
cliff, Yep.
We've looked at it, if you looked out 20 years, and you didn't spend any of that money, you'd have over $8 million in the kitty. I
Exactly.
mean, that's how much money's coming due. And so,
Wow.
again, from a council standpoint, stretching for the next 10 years, because that's lean. some of them are falling off, but we don't get into the big money for about 10 years.
Yeah,
And so
I think the
this
first one
idea
gives us
of
$1.38 a month.
approval for assets, I mean, the approval for assets, and I would ask you guys to look at this, instead of having the approval process be, I want, you got, and I don't mean that.
You got, okay.
I don't mean that literally, but that, it appears that there ought to be a process for acquiring any asset, that you have to go through to prove you need it, you prove that you've looked at alternatives, and what if you do, what if you don't do it, when can you do it, can you push it out a year? All of those things are very important to a business when you're trying to conserve money in the short term. So the further you can push it out, the smaller you can make it, the less alternatives you make it, the better off we are. Because we don't have available to us any excess funds from the payments until, I think it's 4 years out or 6 years out.
It's.
But then it starts,
Yeah.
it's a nit. I
Really
mean, it's
starts
not
to-
even enough to make your
In year
salary.
6, it really starts
But
to,
then all of a sudden, you
Get big.
really start growing.
yeah.
I
I
just-
wish I would have brought my book, because I could have showed you the chart. And
Yeah,
I got the chart.
Yeah, and it really does. It's, so again,
They're 10 years out, we're getting $500,000 a year
So-
in surplus.
if we were to do something big like a new tank, we would bring on debt to do that. It'd be just a new one that would take the place of some of these falling off.
Well, that's what but you don't want to have a rate that goes up like this and then comes back down.
Absolutely.
That's the reason I'm saying we need to push
Yeah.
this stuff out.
Yeah,
Because
that's-
we're struggling with the operations, with the inflation. Can I make a statement, Mayor and Sharon? I did some calculation, and I'd just like to give you some good news about our rates, if I may. SoFi, which is a lending institution, says that the average Wyoming water bill is $83 a month. If you look at our water bill, they say they just use the base fee, but if you add in the water usage,
70.
we're at $87.25. So we're within $4 of what the average is in the state of Wyoming. I think that's great. But let me tell you a really good story. At the very first line, it says individual city and service fees will vary across the state due to localization infrastructure projects. So if you take our payments out of our rates, and that means vacant lots would be 0, or almost 0, they'd be $1. And if you take that same amount out of the others, our effective rate for water usage is $59.71. It's under $60. And the reason we're spending that extra $28 is because of our own payments.
Right, these payments.
Yes, those.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a great story.
Mortgage.
And that's the story that everybody needs to understand.
Right.
We're in a really good situation
Oh, I think
because
so.
We
it's
have
not
free
going
water, we
up.
don't even,
They're gonna drop.
Don't say that.
look at our expenses on pumping. We can eliminate 90% of it if we just have our water operation, right? But the net of it is, even that's inexpensive because our electricity is so cheap up here. But our basic water distribution system is downhill.
I know.
And if you look
it's-
at a lot of the communities in Wyoming, they've got 50-year-old water systems.
Yeah.
And so we're being compared to them as well.
Yeah, we had
And
50-year-old system 10, 20 years ago.
And we've got a new system.
It was interesting in looking at all that water data that I had, from the Cassell system of, since 2023. It's interesting that our base rate is what it is, $68.50.
And how much water do you get for that?
None, zero.
This is what's different, because then I looked at the largest 25 consumers of our water, and their bill is, for the quantity of water that they're consuming, they may pay, $95
Right.
versus because it's a 6850, and they're not the
Talk to.
so my brother next door has a lot of grass, and he's on that top 25 in the city. And I'm just going, oh, we just need to have a tier
So-
that if you get to here, you have to pay more,
So
right?
when does it go above the 6850?
Never does. That's a flat fee.
So-
I know, but
but
when,
then you pay
so
such a
my
small
water bill this
amount.
month was $70.50.
That's the usage plus.
Well, what was my usage was how many gallons to $22.50.
Thousandths of a cent, of 100 cents.
You're
per
not
gallon.
paying for the water
I know.
consumption.
Right,
That's the only thing that I found interesting about the way we do things. Not that I'm
No,
arguing.
no, let me tell you why
I'm
we
just
did
saying
that.
it's just
Let me tell you why we
curious.
did that.
Yeah.
Water was free. You came up here and water was free. You never had to pay for
Okay.
it. Stewards were paying for it. The association couldn't even make a go out of it because they couldn't collect enough money to pay their operation fees.
Right.
So we formed a town. So we started charging everybody. Well, we had a tiered basis. And at that time, 75% of our town went to Phoenix in the winter. And these guys said, I'm paying for all your water. I'm paying for all your water. I don't use my 2,000 gallons. I want a credit because I don't use my 2,000 gallons. So we said, screw it. Nobody gets a drop of water without paying for it.
Right.
And then we said, what does it cost us to deliver a gallon of water? And it came out to be 18 cents or something per
Okay.
1,000 gallons, per 100 gallons. And so we charged 18 cents and we're all the way up to 25 cents.
But why couldn't you say, if you exceed
You can,
10,000
you
gallons,
can.
there is a penalty?
that's how most municipalities do it.
If you
Yeah.
read the granddaddy of all water rate setters, he will tell you there are 3 ways to do it. If you want to sell more water, the more you use, the cheaper it gets.
Right.
If you want to conserve water really tight,
The
what you
opposite.
do is you raise the price and you
Right.
conserve it. And he says, however, the fairest way is if you use a gallon, you pay for it. If you use 10,000 gallons, you pay for 10,000
I
gallons.
get it.
And so we took the granddaddy's advice and that's what we did.
Now,
But as a society and in the world we live in today, this isn't the 1960s or 70s anymore.
No.
Why would we not be focused on conservation? I'm just saying, it's the buzzword around, I'm a Wyoming native, I hate, being forced into that box, but why? Why would we not?
I thought the state engineer's office was going to tell you, you better be a little more concerned.
I'm just going, why would we not say if you really consume a lot of water, you should pay more?
Jackson has a tier system clear up to 100,000 gallons a month. So,
Again, if you want to
They can
make,
pay for it. They can afford it.
don't change the base. I'm not
No, no, I'm just
advocating
saying-
any of that, I'm just saying, I find it interesting that it doesn't
Well, no,
matter
but if I'm
what-
going to give you
what
2,000
consume.
gallons of water in that base,
Yeah.
I got to charge you for that 2,000 gallons. It's not there now. There's no charge for that water in that base.
Right.
So if you want to say
No,
this,
I say don't change that.
the price goes, you're going to come up short.
No, we.
Let me,
set a
I
tier
think-
system.
let me go back to the agenda
I'm
here.
sorry.
And
This is very
Reservation
sorry.
here.
we want to go home sometime tonight. So
It's really a busy chart. but-
So the
other-
assets is what we really.
the the second idea is that having an asset management committee, and this would be a committee that would decide upon which capital improvement projects are due and where we put them on the timeline. And you could get somebody, I would think, from finance, from water, from public works, from administration, the mayor, council members, and meet once a year. Just make it a committee that decides.
Prior to budgets.
Yeah,
Prior to
Yeah.
budget so that the projects can be identified
Fit
for
in.
this next year.
Right.
And-
you would supply.
And anything for the future.
tentatively for the next 5.
Yes,
you know.
but again, so that we can put it in the budget.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Good job, Steve.
And it's
Okay,
like
that's
every 10 years, we should have those residential meters, whether it's 10 or 12 years, whatever it is. That's just something we do every 12 years.
Right. Because they're gonna lose their,
That's what
Sure.
we should do.
the third one is, as I look at the water system reserve, the revenue there is tap fees and what's left over from operations.
Yeah.
Both of those are variable and unpredictable. I would think we should consider some type of water system reserve fee in the rate calculation. I don't know if we add it or maybe we carve it out of what our existing rate is, but something that we know how much is going into that fund every year.
So what is an adequate reserve? I've asked this 100 times because
It's
I
gonna be
don't
based
know
on
what it is.
our asset management committee's prediction
Okay.
of what we're going to require in the next 5
Alright.
years.
And that's taking a look at that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but, you know, maybe sometimes it's zero. You know, that we're getting enough from tap fees and,
Well, and with
Operations.
the debt coming down over
Yeah.
the course of the next
Yeah,
10
you can
years.
manage it with that.
you could manage it with that. You
Yeah.
could put it into asset management.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would think that if we establish that fee, then it gives us a tool to raise money for assets.
I
Asset.
agree.
I was opposed to having it separate, but with us looking at annexations and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
I think it should really be a separate fee. And I don't know that, you know, how you do it, but I think it.
But it's on the water bill.
But it's, oh, I know, it's a water fee, but it's an individual fee.
Right, right.
I mean, it's a charge we charge, and people can see it.
And they know what it is and what it's for.
And the other thing is you would add it to the base fee and to the SAF fee.
Or
So that-
everybody pays it, yeah,
Yeah, everyone pays it.
yeah.
And it would be dedicated for capital improvements.
Mhm.
So just a way to manage those funds.
Yeah.
Because we've told them, you know, we've told them until they're blue in the face that a lot of that's for payments. And we've showed them occasionally how much was payments.
Right.
But what Steve's talking about is we've never talked to them about it, because it's always been what's left over. And depending on how efficient the administration is, excuse me, Mayor, that's how much goes in. So if we're gonna tell them how much is going in, and they can watch the reserves go up by the same amount, I think it's a,
Yeah, it's something you can report quarterly.
and tell people
So
what they're
think
spending.
of it this way, for every dollar that you would put into a fee, right,
Mhm.
you're generating about $25,000 a year for every dollar. Just to understand that kind of, so if you put in $2, that'd be $50,000 of pure reserve money.
Yep.
Just so you kind of, and it's not precise, but it gives you a good idea of what you would generate.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
How did you
And
do
it-
that?
So the,
Having that is also helpful when you go for grants, because it's good matching dollars that they can
Yeah.
see.
1,000.
I think the future is, what I hear, what I talk to people about is that there's going to be less money available and more competition.
Right.
And
So,
Do we have?
the asset management committee could get us out there requesting grants earlier and requesting loans earlier, but, you know, people are saying that when you go get a loan, you may have to have some matching funds.
Right, and the reserve fits.
And so
well
this
with that.
reserve could assist with that.
Yeah.
The last thing is there some way to evaluate our efficiency of operations, just on every year? I mean, you mentioned that rate setting was not just revenue, but also controlling costs.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if we should have a committee or something that evaluates, you know, periodically how efficient our operations are. In most businesses, you have a lot of ratios that you look at, you
Yeah.
know, comparing this to this and this to this. And I don't know what they use for water systems, but, you know, we could determine that or make them up or whatever. What do we want to see and track them over time? And it's a good way to pick up things, you know, that all of a sudden became very expensive, and then start asking the question why. And, you know,
Is this a quantitative evaluation or a qualitative? Is this, when you talk about operations, are you talking about the personnel and how efficient they are in doing their work? Or you're talking about production versus consumption, and what was the difference?
probably both. I worked in pharmacy administration all my life, and one of the pearls of wisdom that I gathered over the years was that the people on the front lines know the best, have the best information on how things operate.
Agreed.
And I would at the hospital, you know, you have nursing stations and floors and things, and I would go up and ask the nurses, you know, things like, how can we help you do your job better? And I'd get pages. And when I'd ask, you know, are there safety things that keep you up at night?
Okay,
It'd be nice to ask our water people whether there's safety items that
Yeah.
keep you up. That would be a hell of a question to get, not the question.
Well,
the answers.
not only safety, but, you
No,
know,
that's,
how can we make your job easier, which means making it more efficient?
yeah.
And, you know, just have a committee that evaluates that once in a while.
yeah, I'm just wondering if that's something the Water Utility Board is a part of, or really if it's something that Trevor and his staff need to implement.
Yeah.
It's more, I mean,
It's a
I think
self-evaluation.
it's more in that area. I mean, I think we can,
You could recommend something to the
Recommend
town
and encourage
administrator
that
to do,
to happen,
that's
right.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to go through every line item
right,
and compare it and see where it's going
right.
and what's happening and start asking why.
And that's something that Trevor can report on to us so that we can get a sense of it, I guess. That's how I sort of look at it.
Just a suggestion about
I understand.
water operations.
I mean, I think the operations of the system relative to production versus consumption is important. You know, how efficient are we? And in areas that we're not efficient from a water distribution standpoint, what's going on there?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we used to get that efficiency report from SCADA that showed
it's
us.
important because, every drop of water that you don't sell is money lost.
No, but you see, the thing we can see in it is, because of the weather.
Right,
You got a great bell shape.
Right,
But on the water that we can't account for, we plotted that separately, and it's like this. That says something's consistent all the time.
right.
And if I charge you 5 times more in the summer for water than I do in the winter, I'm talking about volume now, you would expect, if it was a bad meter, it would be 5 times higher.
Right.
Yeah.
But a consistent leak should be consistent leak. And that's the reason we came to the council. I'm gonna go back to our recommendation, having those gals come out and identify where the leaks are. And for $10,000, they'll tell you where your leaks are and how big they are. But that's the kind of thing that you can get out of these charts if you're really looking at them.
Right.
And that's the reason we were asking for the data more than for the actual report. But I like your idea.
I could
Let's see what-
actually compare year over year, and you could see the summer, because every summer is a little different.
Whether it was
hotter,
dry or
drier,
wetter.
wetter.
Yeah.
It
so
correlated so
obvious.
beautifully across the entire ranch. Anyway, it's all good stuff.
I've got some.
Anyway, those are some things that I
10
thought
years.
we could recommend as far as rate setting.
I think those are
So
all
thank
great.
you for
Thanks, Wade.
letting
Thanks,
me.
Wade. Yeah,
Thank you.
See you later.
It's helpful. We need you.
Well, thank you.
thank you.
I'd
We
like
gotta-
I'd like to feel
No,
needed.
no, we need somebody to disagree with.
That always works too
You're
here.
getting my treat. No, this is good. All right, thank you.
So anyway, I can write those up,
Yeah, I think that's good.
and Dave can write those up, and maybe we'll have a Zoom meeting or something like that among us all and vote on them and get them to.
If there's a lot of questions going back and forth or indecisions, a Zoom would be better.
That's fine.
If it's approval, I mean, if we look at it and say it looks good, and there's nothing to change, just do it, email.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would recommend that way.
all right.
I hate Zoom, so I don't want to do it. I'll agree with you that way.
Well, I always resist the urge to make a PowerPoint.
No,
Not a PowerPoint ranger.
I love PowerPoint.
PowerPoint, guys. I do PowerPoints and Zoom all the time.
I love PowerPoint.
Yeah.
They were my saviors.
Whenever
Very good.
anyone would get up with a PowerPoint, I'd look and see how many pages this is.
Yes, I know, it's the first thing I would do too.
You know,
If
when
it's
other-
more than 10, you're gonna lose them.
and when-
Yeah.
when
You
somebody
gotta be under 10.
when somebody else would do a PowerPoint, you knew they had their steps to do, so I'd ask questions to get them.
Off the steps, yeah, then you get them all flustered.
Ask them page 8, number 2.
Okay, any other items of importance from board members?
Just wanted to say, I'd echo what you were just talking about at the end, which is usage efficiency. Boyd had a chart that showed we were losing roughly 6 million gallons a month, and it's pretty steady, summer and winter. And the only reason our efficiency improves in the summer is because you got a lot more usage that you're weighing against this fairly constant loss. And I think we need to get, as soon as we got the meters, we need to get back on finding our leak detection and get that group that Boyd had found to come and check our system, see if we can find any more leaks. And then the other thing that I wanted to emphasize is changing our mode of operation so we aren't pumping everything up to Prater and
Yeah.
then letting it run downhill. That's a fairly expensive proposition, and that isn't the way the plant was, or the town was built. So that needs to be, I don't know how much work that'll be to readjust SCADA so we aren't pumping everything up to Prater. And that's an important thing, I believe.
Lee, thanks for bringing that up, because that just did a thing in my head. Our engineer said that we needed to recycle the water in Green Canyon during the winter because of low usage. He put that in that deal.
Yeah.
If we're running all the water we've got, except for the spring, through Green and pumping it up there, that's more circulation than you would ever need. So our engineer didn't even know that. Just FYI,
Okay.
because that was in his report, that we needed to do that. We need to have an ice skating rink. Mayor, that's a new social thing for us to do, is to run competition with the association and flood this field over here and make it, so we have a place to put that water.
You're gonna hear the wrath of some lady over there that runs the association.
I heard her.
Shows March 26th is our next meeting, and that's a Thursday. Is that intentional then, so we can get Ryan, or what?
That's intentional because town council is now having workshop meetings on Tuesday afternoon.
How come you did that to us? Didn't you know we were there, man?
Sorry.
You've got to remember what the pecking order is. It starts at the bottom and works its way up.
Is Thursday still okay?
Works for me.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's okay with Daniel or not, but
Yeah.
I don't have anything specific on that day. But anyway, we ought
Yeah, our
to try to
fourth-
pick a date when everybody can be there.
Yeah. Well, that's on the calendar already, the 26th.
Can we try to get Ryan in our meeting?
It would be nice to have him at least here to fill in some of the gaps.
Well, one of the things that he would probably be interested in hearing is our recommendations on estates.
Because if you have that, I mean, I know you're gonna get that before your next meeting.
Right.
Then I could look at getting him here.
But sometimes, Mayor, it's more important as to why we said what we said than what we said. So, you make a recommendation, you can't have 10 paragraphs or nobody will read it.
Right.
But what we went through thought process as to why we recommend that usually helps someone else say, has nothing to do with what you just said, makes me think of something else that I should be doing. So I would recommend a review with him at least. You can make a PowerPoint presentation.
Well, thank you, everyone. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved. Don't you object, Lee?
Yeah. You have a second?
I said, yeah, I said second.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Have you seen that?
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
No.
Thank you, Lee.
That's what our ordinances
Welcome, thank you, Rube.
used to say, and they're not 100% because they've made changes to some of them, but basically that's where the revenues went and that's where the money ended up. Might be of interest to you to see.
Okay, thank you, yeah.
Shoot.
And if you find errors, please tell me. The reason that red line is there is because the
This is not working.
vacant lot.
We have to stop the
fee
recording
was
right now,
so much
gentlemen,
more than
so-
it was supposed to be.
This is recorded, this is not working.
Keep the
And
conversation
paint the-